Hi everybody, on this episode of Mr. Fix, I'm going to show you how to fix one of these patio door locks. And this is an old style, and what happens here is there's a mortise lock that goes in here, but it's a little different than the new locks of today. Now when changing one of these locks, I've taken it out now, but what's happened here is when the lock is there, you got one of these little frames in here that sits in. And it's a one-piece unit. But what you'll find is, after you destroy it like I did, is that it's riveted to the back. And what you have to do, the easiest way to do this, is to go get, just, not this junky screwdriver, but another one, just wedge it right in between there, and then just give it a crack, and then it'll pull away. And what we're gonna try to do here is take this one, and then with the new patio lock, which these are found all over the place, Home Depot, I ordered mine on Amazon, which was a lot cheaper. And I'm gonna try to make this work with this. And just as long as everything lines up and I've ordered the right one, which this is an E2014, hopefully it all works. And at the same time, I've ordered a brand new patio door handle, and you have to make sure that your measurements are exactly the same as what you're coming off of. So afterwards, I'm going to take this guy off, put it all together, and hopefully it works. We'll see what happens. So what I've already done is, I just had this on here for now, just so we can open and close it, but it's really easy. 2 screws, comes right off. Then you have 2 more screws to take off this, which I've already taken off. Very easy, you can do this with a drill, or I prefer probably just to do it with a hand screwdriver, just so when you put the new ones on, you don't scratch it up like these ones are. You see, after you've done it a few times, you're just gonna scratch the hell out of it. So to maintain the paint, I'd say do it by hand, nice and easy. Watch it doesn't fall off on the other side. Hit your dog or something, I don't know. So then it comes off, and that's it. So this is gone. We're gonna try to do the new one in a few minutes. This is the Mortise Lock E2014, which I've measured, and hopefully it works, that it will sit, right as soon as I take it out of the package, it'll go, this will sit on top and screw in from there. Just what I notice here is that you have these little, probably 3/4 inch screws in here, but I've kept the originals, so hopefully it all screws in. If not, I might have to drill it through. So here we go, guys. So if we do the alignment works out great. No problem. You know, there might be a little bit of a gap in there, but it fits. Problem? Yes, problem. So the screws that we have to screw into the handle here, if you see, go right through the door. So the problem is that this screw that comes with the door that screws in this one, which is the same proper size, will not screw in here. So we're gonna have to modify this to make it work. So we got nothing to lose. But obviously when you go to measuring one of these things, make sure that it's gonna fit in, because some of them are deeper than others. This one I find will fit in, no problem, lots of room. But you gotta measure to make sure. Some of these are bigger than normal. So here goes nothing. We're gonna start drilling afterwards. So I think what I'm gonna try to do here, because I don't have a tap and die set here, so I'm gonna try to do a 532 to get this one in. Hopefully I get a tight fit on this one. And then what I'm thinking about doing afterwards is probably go get a nut for the other side to try to like wedge it in, and hopefully that'll work. So let me try the first hole and we'll see what happens. All right, so we're back here, and I ended up using an 1164 bit to screw through, and then a bigger bit just to kind of clean it up a little bit. What you see happening here now, it's going to start digging itself in, going a little crooked. That could cause a problem. At the end of the day, what I might have to do is just bend it a little bit, make sure everything goes good. That's what happens when you don't have a tap and die, because then if these screws don't align to the screws that are permanently placed in the patio door, it's not going to sit properly, and it's going to be pretty bad. Let me play with this for a little bit, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, so I put the form on this little bracket, and I'm trying to align it up. It's not 100%, but that's what happens when you try to MacGyver something. So I'm going to keep screwing it. Hopefully, when I screw it through, it stays nice and solid, and it'll screw in the patio door. But we got to be careful. This bottom one Looks like it's even going a little bit straighter maybe than the other one. I'm going to keep going and see how it looks. So this will be the hardest part that you probably want to do here. So measure your holes, and it's about 3 5/8 and a bit. So what happens here is, in order for it to line up with those pre-drilled screws in the patio, these things, because they've gone a little crooked on me, I've had to kind of like bend them a little bit. And, you know, I'm at about 3 3/4 and a bit. So if I start screwing one, the other one might not line up. And once you start screwing, you're in for a rude awakening. So I'm going to keep playing with them for a little bit. This one here, you can see is bent out. I'm going to try to just kind of gently bend it in to get. I put 2 nuts on it here to try to just kind of like keep it in place, just so it doesn't wiggle a lot. And I'll probably play with that, tighten it up as close as I can. Like I said, if there was a tap and die, you'd be able to screw right through there and everything would be golden. But here, it's going to take a little bit more refining. And that's what happens when these things aren't sold as a whole unit. You got to play with it like this. And you got a patio door that's a little bit older. The newer ones, they're a little bit shorter and they have a screw here and a screw there. And you just kind of slide it in and you screw it right through. That's not the case here. So we got to play some more. And I'll be right back. All right, guys. So what happened here was that the holes weren't aligning correctly. So I had to go get my Dremel and just make sure, because when they were going in, it was going crooked. And it was getting really hard to screw it into the patio door. It's sitting a lot better now. And now I'm going to put the bolts on and we'll see what happens. All right, everybody. So I started off nice and slow and it looks like it's catching really well. So hopefully, if it goes well, looks like this is catching well. Go like that. Everything looks okay. Now if I fast forward it with the drill, hopefully everything will go well. This one looks good. That one looks good. That's it. We don't want to over tighten it. So it looks good. Everything is nice and tight. If you look over here, it looks like the slot. Come down here, you'll see right through. My hole is lining up. So now we're ready to go with the handle. So that's the way to fix that one up. Took a little bit more work than normal, but it looks stock now. And these parts are really hard to get. Nobody shows you or how to order this one here. So this one enables you to use the existing one that you have on your door and modify it. And just as long as everything's tight, just like those 2 bolts on the other side, should work out really well. So we're going to move to the handle next. So this is a C1225 that I ordered through Amazon, and it is about $41 Canadian. Anyways, same type of handle, Home Depot, you're looking at 60 bucks. Key to this is make sure when you're doing your measurements, comparing it to the other one, it's bang on. And it's really precise, but you're going to look at it. It's 3 by 3 15/16 hole that separates the 2. All right, it'd be good to read the instructions, but what the hell, I'm going to go without. So this is the first one that you want to put in. This is the handle that goes through the slot. Really easy. Should stay by itself. This is the inside. This is the outside. Now for this one here, just be careful. You use a drill on this one, you're going to scratch all the paint. Hey, whatever. It's up to you. So with this, we're going to try to just align and try to go right through. And I think I feel it on the other side there. And you'll see it protruding out, which is fine, which is good. I'm going to try to do the other one. You want to see the other side? The other side is good. Now, as you can see here, we got a problem. The problem is that it looks like we got a little bit of a gap here. So it looks like this one almost came with, there would have been pre-drilled holes here and here where these little gaps fit in. So what we're going to do here, well, it's right at the holes. So all we're going to do is we're going to get a drill and we're going to open up this one just enough to pass this. And we'll be back. Looked like it took a 15/16 to get it. Make sure not to make a lot of mess. You're going to go through. Make sure this thing should fit like butter. And there we go. And the same thing with those long screws that we had. There's a couple in the package. I don't know what the difference between the 2 are, to be honest with you. I think one's a little bit more rounded. Hey, just as long as it goes through. This one did. If you can see on the other side, that's great. This one here, perfect. That's good. Remember, let's lightly do this because we don't want to scuff up all the paint on the other side. Make sure your handle is correct, like this, so then you go to grab, you go. So I want to make sure that they're going in the right holes. This one's good. And this one looks like it caught. So we're going to be able to get our drill, not the drill, because you don't want to scuff it up here. We're just going to hold them in place, lightly screw. And as you can see, I've come to the end here. So what's telling me is that there is a difference between the two screws. One is longer and one is shorter. So let me take this one out, this top one, and see if there's a difference. This one is a little shorter. I have no idea if it's gonna make or break, but if not, we're gonna have to cut those other guys down. So this one just barely makes the other side. No idea that looks like. If you see on this side, just barely. We see on this one, so I'll have to take off. So if you see, I've tightened it all I can, and we're still too big here. And this is one more step to know that, you know what, doing it yourself is cheaper, but definitely not easier. These are the old ones. And they look the exact same size as these ones. But for some reason, it just doesn't want to screw in more than a couple of threads here. And that's it. We're not talking a lot here. It's just really weird. Well, now I'm noticing this is the old handle and this is the new handle. Wow, bigger. Now if I wanted to, for curiosity, I wanted to see, these are the, looks like the screws that were done. And if you notice, this thing screws in a lot better. If I wanted to, I could use even this one. And for curiosity, let me see.
Did you look at the box the train?
For curiosity, if that's the case, then I don't have to do anything. Well, I don't see anything wrong. This thing's only been here for 16 years. I might as well use the... All right, and we'll be right back. All right, so that's the final screws. Like I said, this new one, for some reason, didn't want to screw in too much, and I can see right now that it's not as deep as the original one that I had. So to make things easier, instead of cutting the screws down, I just used the original and went from there. Last thing to check, let's see if it lines up, closes properly. If you come over here, you'll see it. Let me just make sure that it all closes up, make sure that it's aligned with the other one. Hopefully we don't have to do any adjusting. Closes right. Let's see the lock, and we'll leave the dog outside. No, we're gonna be nice. See, here he comes. All done. Any questions, guys? So it's a little bit complicated to get this bracket to work with the other one, but as far as I've seen on the internet, I can't find one, or they're too expensive. The lock inside, $17 at Amazon, $41 for this handle, Canadian. A lot cheaper, just it's gonna take you a little bit of work to play with it to get it, but once it's up and running, no problem. And if it breaks again, it's another $17 fix. Thanks for watching. I can't stop that.